take a seat, please. Don't give up the right.
Hey, you don't know. Good, how are you? Good. Hi, how are you? Fine, how are you? How's your shoulder? It's great to touch you. Did you do that?
You're home, man. I got it, man. You ready?
Hey, how are you doing? How's Heather? Well, I didn't hear a week ago. I talked to Mary on the 1st, and that was it, so nothing since then.
They want to adjourn, they were like,
Have to get a treatment plan going.
Okay, you guys will take a seat, please. Are you safe?
I'm gonna get up
Wait a minute, I couldn't help it. Anyway, we're going to start. We're going to start our organizational part of this meeting, and Ralph's going to conduct that so that it's legal.
I'll get us started anyway. First meeting, it will be consisting of the Finance Committee, which will be Justice Mahoney, Justice Anderson, Justice Owen, Justice Warnable, Justice Griffin, Justice McKee, and Justice Rainey. So those are the ones that we're talking to at this point in time. This will be the member of the Finance Committee at this time. It appears to be 5 o'clock. This committee is being called to order. First order of business is going to be the selection of a chairman for that, or chairman or chairwoman for that committee. I need a nomination for the purposes of. Any other nominations? All right, that's another motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Justice McKee, you are now the chairman of the Finance Committee. Your next order of business will be to select a vice chair. And then this committee does not need to adjourn. It just needs to take a recess because you have business to perform. But we're going to do the rest of the organizational meetings and then come back to you guys and let you do your business in the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your confidence. Look forward to working with everybody. Entertain nominations for vice chair. We have a motion for Justice Owen, and a second. Second. We have a second from Darrell Mahoney. We have any discussion on that? Any other nominations? Sorry.
I would like to motion Thomas Anderson as the prior vice chair of finance. I think it would be appropriate to leave him in that position.
We have another nomination.
I would, that's what we're looking for.
Decline.
Decline.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor of Justice Owen as vice chair of finance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. So we're going to
Recess. Need a motion to recess.
Need a motion to recess? Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recess.
Very good. Next.
I'd like to ask a question. Since we're down to 5 committees and 13 justices, I would like to move that no justice fill more than one position as either chair or vice chair.
We actually have a policy that says that. You can only serve as chair of one committee and a vice chair of one committee, that's it. You can't have any other positions.
But I'm making the recommendation that this court, not necessarily future courts, you only fill one or the other, not the possibility of 2, because we're down to only 5 committees. That means that 10 justices would be filling one of those positions.
Ray normally chairs the ordinance committee.
Well, I guess the first question would be is that an ordinance that we have that sets that?
It is. So we need to come back and clean that up.
We'd have to do a new ordinance from scratch should do that without changing the ordinance.
Certainly you could try to.
I mean,
But, and that may be something that you want to spend a little more time than just like that to make that decision, but that's,
Since we're down to 5 committees, we had 6 committees before. Now that we're down to 5, that's,
13 of these, so each of them gets 10 spots.
even that leaves 3 justices without one of those positions.
I think that we have an ordinance in place that precludes serving as president for more than one committee, precludes chairman, someone being vice chairman for more than one committee. There may be that you have people that have served for a period of time or have particular strengths that you may want to be able to have one person be a vice chair of one and chair of another. I think the decision is probably best made by the committee. So
I think it's a decision that needs to be made in a different form than right here. Certainly that's something that needs to be reviewed, if in fact that's what you want to see happen. Next committee we're looking at is the ordinance committee. I need Justice Owen, Justice Varhala, Justice Marion, Justice Arguello, who by the way will not be here tonight. Becky is in Boston. She got there yesterday. She got there Saturday. She was placed in the hospital immediately. And she's had a PET scan and she's having some other complications with the cancer that she's experiencing. So she wanted me to extend to you her regrets that she cannot be here tonight. She'd much rather be here than there. I'm sure that's true. I also need Justice Reagan and Justice Hudgens. These will be the people that we're talking to at this point in time. This is the ordinance committee. This time the ordinance committee will be called to order. First order of business for this committee would be the selection of a chairperson. Any nomination for selection of a chairperson for the ordinance committee?
I'd like to nominate Justice Owen.
Second. Any other nominations? All in favor of the nomination of Justice Owen as the chairman of the ordinance committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Justice Owen?
we now will open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I would nominate Drew Hudgens for vice chair of the ordinance committee.
For a second.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Denise?
All in favor of Drew, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Drew. We're done.
And you will reconvene, what, at 5:30? This committee will convene at 5:30? Next organizational, 5:40?
Yeah.
Next organization, well, that's true, we're supposed to wait, I guess I'm out of order now. Oh, well, I guess I did. Next committee would be the Environmental Services, Public Works and Buildings Committee. Looking for Justice Faulkner, Justice Arguello, who again is not here tonight, Justice Mahoney, Justice Marion, Justice Reagan, Justice Varhala, and Justice Hudgens. Those are the people that we're looking at this point in time for purposes of the Environmental Services, Public Works and Buildings Committee. This time, we need a motion to select a chairperson for this committee.
I nominate Darrell Bowman.
Second.
Any other nominations? All in favor of that selection, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Justice Mahoney, it's yours again.
Okay, thank you, I think. We're looking forward to nominations for Vice Chair of Environmental Services.
I nominate Dave Root.
I would accept.
Have a second?
I second.
Have a second? Any other nominations? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you.
Any other business to come before this committee?
Not today, but there will be soon.
We need to go ahead and adjourn then.
Yes, you would. Mr.
Move to adjourn, have a motion to adjourn.
And you will want to note that your committee meets on the third Monday at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
For everybody's purposes. Next organizational meeting would be the meeting of the Public Health, Welfare, and Safety. Looking for Justice Griffin, Justice Bourneval, Justice Reagan, Justice McKee, Justice Rainey, Justice Marion, and Justice Anderson. Those will be the persons that have been selected to serve on that committee. far as the organizational committee is concerned, or organizational meeting is concerned, I need a nomination for the purposes of a chairperson of that committee. Justice
I
Blunt.
nominate Justice Larry Griffin to continue as president of that committee.
Second.
Been nominated and seconded twice. You should be in good shape here. Any other nominations? All in favor of Justice Reagan being selected as chairperson, say aye. Justice Griffin, excuse me. I was looking at that. All in favor of Justice Griffin being selected as chairperson of the Public Health, Welfare, and Safety Committee, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Justice Griffin, it is your committee.
Thank you. Members, we need to select a vice chairman. Do I have any nominations?
Mayor Garland.
Mary Vulnerable has been nominated for vice chairman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Justice Thomas Anderson. Is there any other nominations? All those in favor of Mary Vulnerable for vice chairman of the Public Health, Welfare, and Safety, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Any other business to come before this committee at this time? And this committee meets on the fourth Monday of October.
Should be adjourned.
Got a motion?
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very well. And then the fifth and final committee would be that committee consisting of the Human Resource Committee, looking for Justices Anderson, Justice Owen, Justice Rainey, Justice Arguello, who again cannot be present, Justice Griffin, Justice Bournemouth, Justice Faulkner, and Justice McKee. Those will be the persons nominated to serve on the Human Resources Committee. At this time, I need a motion to select the chairperson.
Justice Anderson?
Justice Anderson,
Second.
second. Any other nominations? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Justice Anderson, it is your committee.
Thank you. Appreciate the confidence. I'll now entertain a name for the vice chair of the Human Resources Committee.
I nominate Justice Larry Rainey.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for Justice Rainey. Any others? Okay. All in favor of Justice Rainey?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I don't know if any other business has come before, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Very well. And now we conclude the organizational meetings, which brings us back around to the Finance Committee, which needs to reconvene for purposes of whatever business that they have. Thank you all very much.
Information technology, they're gonna just remain the same.
Yes,
We got three
That's
persons.
committee appointed by you.
Yeah, I think that's a committee.
So I guess remain the same. I mean, I'm okay with that.
I think it is.
Justice Griffin has done an excellent job.
But they've done a great job. Do you still want it? I mean, do you still want it?
I'm still looking for someone to assist as vice chairman since Marilyn was on it before.
So who is on that committee, do we know?
Well, just Marilyn, myself,
Denise?
chairman, and Marilyn was
Vice chair. The rest of us will be shadows.
She's, Denise
Justice Marion has volunteered.
Well, you got you somebody.
Anybody that can do 80% of the functions on their smartphone qualifies automatically.
Download it now. Yes.
Are we meeting Thursday for IT?
Yes,
we are.
Yes, Will.
Yes, we are. You want to know when and where?
I was going to talk.
He may be the chairman, but she's scheduled.
He's the chairman, she's the boss.
No, we're scheduled for
Thursday,
Thursday.
what time?
9 o'clock
Here?
here, 9 a.m.
Thursday, 9 o'clock here. Any other questions? Very well, let's reconvene the Finance Committee then, because I believe there is some business that needs to go before the Finance Committee, is that correct?
Mary, is the,
Yes.
we'll reconvene the finance committee meeting now, is the agenda that you sent with our organization thing still? Okay. First item of consideration would be an amendment to the budget ordinance.
We have that draft.
Do we need to pass that draft ordinance?
changes are in red, the number of the committees and the combination.
It changes the maximum number of JPs on the committee and combines the ordinance of environmental and public works and buildings.
Move for adoption.
Or
Move for approval.
we have a
I guess we'll do pass.
motion for due pass and a second for confirmation. Do we have discussion?
I have a couple of questions. It says in there that the chairman of the committee will be for 1 year. The way we have operated in the weeks that I've been on the forum board is that the chairman and vice chairman have held those positions for the term, which is 2-year term.
I think that's generally how it ends up, but we do elect them every January, don't we?
I think it would just continue anyway.
So if we reappoint committees every 2 years, and so, I mean, that's,
Rather than each year, it's a 2-year term.
we haven't changed it, so.
We need to change that.
That's what I think we do.
I think you have the option of changing chairman every year.
Yeah, I thought we approved our chairman at the beginning of every year.
Yeah, we've done it for 2 years in a row, but if you ever have somebody who's really needing a replacement,
Yeah, it looks like it's
I
in
think
your
Matt's
order.
gonna do a good
Either
enough job.
or.
Yeah.
Yeah, we better extend this to 2-year term, right?
Well, once you're selected, you stay until you're duly replaced, and so regardless, I think you stay for the 2 years unless somebody decides to replace you after 1 year.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Is there any other discussion?
Behave yourself next to December.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Second item will be the appropriation for the school lunch program, $9,064.70. Move for approval. Motion and a second. Ray, you want to explain?
Yeah, I do. Larry, what we do is, the young people who are in the detention facility might otherwise qualify for the National School Lunch Program. So, with the sheriff's office, we found out several years ago that if we provide a properly balanced diet that's in compliance with the National School Lunch Program for these young people who are in our detention facility, that we will get reimbursed from the state the cost of providing their meals. We have to go through and do this approval every 2 or 3 months. In this case, it's for September through November, so September, October, and November, 3 months worth. So it runs about $3,000 a month that we actually save, that we were spending before, that we get reimbursed for. So it's a good deal, but we have to go, the auditor is required to go through and do this, so we do this every 2 to 3 months. That's what this is about.
And we have Lieutenant Castro up here who,
Need to
can
add
explain
anything
this.
tonight?
These are just appropriations that we need. It starts out with a 0 line item in January, so we need that money to pay bills for December. So about every 3 months, we come, we let the checks build up for about 3 months, and then we come and have those appropriated.
Obviously, it varies from month to month.
Yes.
It does. And the reason I do it so well is Lieutenant Cosgrove was talking about this 4 or 5 times.
Is there a cap on it, like over a 12-month period?
Now, we operate on the Hot Springs School District operates our classroom, so we operate on their schedule, but we actually, because we're a residential facility, we get paid 12 months out of the year. So it averages about 38 to 40,000 a year, something like that.
Is it just for lunch or is it for other meals?
Now, we get reimbursed lunch, breakfast, and snack.
That's good. That's good.
Any other questions for Lieutenant Cosgrove? Any other discussion on appropriations? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Third item of consideration is appropriation of a voting system grant fund. The grant was received in April 2014. Mr. Treasurer, and is Ms. Jeannie here, or is one of you gentlemen going to speak to this issue? I can. Did Mary, or did you have anything to say about it, or should we let them?
No, let him.
Yes.
Well, we've had a discussion about what we plan to do with this money. We have, I believe it's 9 computers, 2 of which have died. The hard drives are down. We need to replace some of them, and we're also looking to the future because we're hoping we'll get better voting equipment in the next year. And if that happens, then we're gonna need some more portable computers than we got now. Because some of the desktops we use on early voting have a separate Wi-Fi. We're gonna try to add that to the drive-by laptops. We're also going to spend this money for a Wi-Fi system inside the Garland County election building over there. We talked to Davis a little bit about that today, to make it easier to move those laptops around rather than having to have them hardwired. So it's for computers and Wi-Fi and any related software that we have to buy with that. We're going to try to attend that IT meeting on Thursday to get some advice from the county. So that's what we're going. Any questions?
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
I guess number one would be, is apparently we got this grant sometime in April of last year. And it's now January of this year, and I just was wondering why we didn't act a little faster with regard to
Well,
utilization.
that question is that we did look at using that money for more of the electronic voting machines in Iowa. And we did buy one machine, which turned out it was a used machine. You can't buy new machines anymore, they're $5,000. And after our bad experience with one, we deferred any further discussion about that because we thought that would be a bad investment to buy additional equipment that's obsolete. And so we had discussion back in the fall about possibly buying some computers, but frankly didn't have time from September on to even bring this forward.
And the second question I had was, is that this expenditure that you propose, will it be in compliance with the grant?
Yes, we will be in compliance with that. This is restricted to only voting-related equipment and support equipment for it. So software for voting, hardware for voting, the Wi-Fi will be for voting, so it's only voting-related. We can't, I was hoping we could buy some organizational equipment like storage, not some cabinets, but we got a pretty big storage problem in the election commission, but we have to use it strictly for, and we will use it strictly for election equipment.
Thank you. I move we give it to Vanessa.
We've got a motion.
Second.
Second. And that will, all that money will be spent by April.
Oh, yeah.
Any other discussion or questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Chairman, I have one question. Have we identified in the election commission who the new chairman is?
We're going to have a meeting on the 23rd of this month, and the Democrats have not voted to confirm or reconfirm Jim Watson, so we really don't have a fully appointed commission yet.
Okay, when you do make that decision amongst yourselves, could you please notify the court?
Oh,
So that we know who to talk to and who's related? Thank you.
And just in case anybody doesn't know, two of the election commissioners are here, Mr. Gene Haley and Mr. Dennis Bosch. So we appreciate the work that is going to happen at our election office. Is there any other business, Mary?
Let's see it.
Move to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance committee will be at 5:30. It's 5:22.
So, and the chair of the ordinance committee, just so you guys know, the reason he's on there, he's the educational person on the Quorum board. I mean, he's pretty well. He don't know it, nobody does.
Yeah, I talked bad about him and now he starts compliment. I treat him real nice, he's just humor in the
You can
same.
buy a poll.
Watch you lead into a false sense of security.
Yeah, all right.
Doctor's coming through in the morning. She wants to get out of there. If she goes home, what can she do at night? She trusts her to do her bed. No, she got to push the cart. Yeah, you know, when they get into a doorway or something, there is, you know, correct. Out there and
See, this one in terms of the ordinance, he says that it talks about the merits of the ordinance as opposed to whether or not it's in its right form. That's all the ordinance committee is supposed to do is, you got it. You got it. He's always talking about the merits of the ordinance instead of whether or not it's in its right form. That's all they're supposed to do. He can always do it
They told me. It takes about 6 weeks. They really don't start.
They're just worried about they won't know.
Oh, man. I still don't, of course, you can't see it. You can't feel it. Right where you can't be, you know. It's up in the skin, right? They got a incision and peel it up and something like that. Tray service, you
Got any blanks in there?
Ordinance committee is going to be Justice Owen, Justice Marholland, Justice Marion, Justice Arguella, Justice Reagan, and Justice Hutchins. That would be your ordinance committee.
All right, we have a quorum, we're calling the meeting to order. And the first item is ordinance number 015-1. Ordinance to repeal ordinance number 0445 and to amend ordinance 083-2, establishing committees of Quorum Court and establishing procedure for memberships thereto, to declare an emergency and for other purposes. And this simply is the ordinance that combines public works and building and environmental services. That's all this is. Did I get a motion for a new tax summary? I will say this, and those of you who have already been on the ordinance committee know this. Ordinance committee simply looks at form and not content. Even if you don't like this, if the form appears appropriate, you vote for it. If you don't like it, then you have the opportunity in the full Quorum Court to vote against it. But this is what this is for, it's form. We don't have discussion in ordinance about whether we like something or not unless the form is right. Then we can talk about it. Okay? Everybody understand? Let's look at for you, because everybody else already knew that.
Got it.
All right, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Give it a due pass. All right. The second one is appropriation ordinance number 015-2. And notice this is an appropriation ordinance as opposed to a regular ordinance. Most of the ordinances that we're going to see this year, as we do every year, probably about 85–90% of them are going to be appropriation ordinances. We will occasionally have a regular ordinance about something else like we did a minute ago. But for the most part, what we've talked about is appropriation ordinances. This is an ordinance to amend the 2015 Garland County Budget Ordinance 01478 and to appropriate funds therefore to the Juvenile Detention Center budget 2000 and for other purposes. This is for that school lunch program transfer of funds we talked about just a few minutes ago in finance. Can I get a motion to give this a new pass?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let's give it a new pass. Appropriation ordinance number 015-3. An ordinance to amend the 2015 Garland County Budget Ordinance 01478 and to appropriate funds therefore to the 2015 Voting Systems Grant Budget 2600 and for other purposes. This is the one you just heard a few minutes ago about using the grant that was awarded last April for purchasing a computer and such as that Dennis Bosch very carefully explained to us. Can I get a motion for a new pass on this?
So moved.
A motion and a second to get a new pass. Are there questions or comments? Mr. Bosch is still here. I'll get the step out. But he did answer the questions a little bit earlier. If you have any questions, I can try to bring him back in here. If you don't, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let's give it a new pass. Those are the only three things. Anything else, Mary Ellen? Okay, then, motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
I want everybody to remember the Ducks play tonight.
I'm done with mine. Start right now if you want to. You got your newspaper man right here.
I like that.
Right.
I think Brian Williams said he was running late. He wasn't gonna come in tonight for this, so we got David here to take care of it instead, right?
Who's Brian Williams?
He's the guy who used to be on TV to do the news.
Oh, the guy in NBC.
So who's a Duck fan here?
I kind of like him.
Our county judge says he was offered the
I'm not a
opportunity.
big Duck fan.
That was kind of cool. Our county judge told me he was offered an opportunity to play football for the Ducks, and then he followed up and says, but that's back when they had lousy teams.
That's what it was.
His wife said he had an opportunity to play football for the Oregon Ducks.
I did.
Really?
Long time ago. Back when they were.
Plastic helmets and everything?
Yeah.
No, leather.
That's before they were affiliated with Aflac.
You know, that's where they shot the movie Animal House, was on that campus.
I didn't know that.
That's why it's always overcast. The scenes outside.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That was a good one. Too many close calls in my own life.
Thank you, sir.
That's back when they had a track team.
Oregon used to have a really strong track team. Yeah. That's where Don came to the U of A. When he was there.
Yeah. Needs to come back.
Money, we had that money awarded to us back last year. In this case, what happened was, actually, that's a lunch, you can have mine, you can have that. This comes into our budget in another area. All the money is going to be transferring it over.
Doesn't seem like bus drivers are really getting paid $650 a day.
2 hours, 2 hours.
I remember all the free hard bus driver used to get snow.
I like that.
I even got a laugh before he's got those stickers. See that?
Experience zero.
Maybe he thinks she might.
So as he was leaving, I said, all right, we appreciate it. Shake my hand.
All that athletic team is
They're always gonna.
And he's still in the office.
Part of it was he was just
Athletic director.
maybe a boy.
You got to
Yeah, there you go.
And I kept saying, but it is coming, and it is coming, you know, but there's no reason they couldn't say something. Why would yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Get your name.
People want to know, I mean, like, it's just a structure, and they try it. I know what they don't want. I know, and we
It's gotta be down.
yeah, somebody had given them a grant, and they just, well, they just didn't do it.
Who's that from? I want to say it's
Well, I saw something there that I
Well, you know, I mean, he didn't get any of my email. Because I sent you and I said, and about going to Thursday to, meet with him about,
Okay, so agenda appearance hasn't been renowned?
and I was telling him he didn't get it.
Serve on the election commission?
And he said, well, I want to make sure that you read it. And I never go. You know, I said, I always see. I always get the chief, you know, either CC you or I'll go for you unless he has already knows. And he said, no, I know. I got, maybe it's a bit long. I got locked first. That was very nice Saturday, wasn't it?
But I'm not going to have to do that. I
Park out there.
Are there guidelines that say, okay, you guys
Second Monday. It's easy. Babysitting's easy.
No, I'm talking about 4-year-olds.
Babysitting is easy. You get handcuffed. Texas two cheer teams down in the Nationals He's got several others. Team, has he ever had any teams that go against that he's yeah, sort of. He's had the 7 out of the last 8 years. His high school team in Graham County. And they competed against the team in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, that he had. The team there, he got the that's just their real. They were really tall. You got two times each. You got beat
Because they were involved.
2 points difference. But anyway, that guy got hired by Purdue. He went to Purdue.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
He hired Martin. Well, where he got now, he's got an all-girl team. Out of all girl teams, he's got 24 nationals.
I was waiting for turn.
That's like Shelbyville, Tennessee. Yeah. Oh, because we lived just a few miles from there, like 10 miles. Yeah, that's still on. That was a nice town.
My wife thinks it's nuts. But that's okay. She thinks a lot of things.
Yeah, that's where they tested all the solid rocket solid propellant. And a year or two before we moved here, lives there.
You know, I will say this. I am curious.
You know, like this is,
Well, the reason
there's a hole in the center. It burns. The whole cut it out like clay.
Well, yeah.
You do that.
Wires. All that.
They never did see that back. Just a large white cloud.
We're meeting over at Alexander, we're gonna meet there.
See, that place there had, Tullahoma had 17,000 people. 3,000 engineers worked hard. So the town was engineered. 9,000 people. $17 worked for our.
In fact, the administrator,
They.
and so she's got
It was rocks.
like their own
County school system. Typical everywhere else. But they said, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to set up our own school system. I was going to get the Tullahoma City Schools. They said, we're not running any school systems. Your kid can walk away. Their high school. The largest high school in the state of
Okay, everybody would take their seats, please.
Per year, well, next year was 21, next year was 23, next year was 25, next year was 28. And you're sitting on 17.5.
You sit down, or you get started at 6. Okay. Everybody ready? If you guys would, we're honored to have Cub Scout Pack 3 here tonight. They're going to open us in prayer. One of them anyway. And we're proud to have you.
They still do the pledge.
Pledge, okay. Russ, you want to lead us in prayer, please? Prayer. Well, you want to do prayer first and then pledge?
Sure, that's fine. Dear Lord, thank you for this gathering of these leaders that we have that help our community every month. Thank you for all the safety and the different things that they bring to us and for the protection they give. In His name we pray, amen.
You would lead us in a prayer.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you for coming. Now we'll have roll call. Just a second. Sarah, please.
Justice Reagan.
Here?
Anderson.
Here.
Marion. Here. Portervall. Here. Arguello. Owen.
Here.
Faulkner.
Here.
Marhala. Here. McKee. Hudgens.
Here.
Griffin.
Here.
Mahoney.
Here.
Rainey.
Here. Okay, does anyone in the audience want to speak to anything tonight, on anything on the agenda? Okay, Russ, if you would come up and speak for the Scout Pack.
Yes, the first thing is an apology. We did this with the city a month or so ago, and we had a dozen or so turn out. Tonight we expected a similar or larger group, but I don't know what happened to each one of them. Anyway, part of the Cub Scout process is to learn about community involvement, community service. So we've had them getting involved in Quorum Court and city board meetings and projects and stuff around the community. So anyway, my apology, we didn't get a larger crowd, but we'll give them next time.
We'll come back again. We can do it again. Thank you.
That was my son, Sasha Thomas.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Second. Motion. We got a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. I need a motion to approve the minutes from December the 8th Quorum Court meeting.
Second.
Is there any?
Point of order, roll call first.
We already had roll call. What'd you?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to direct public health welfare. Ray, did you explain that to me? Okay. Anyway.
He's in charge of IT, he's going to check out my phone.
Is there any discussion on the minutes from December the 8th? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next thing on the agenda is exhibits A through D. I need a motion to approve those exhibits.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on any of the exhibits? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I think we're going to have to go through the committee reports.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, there's not much to report, but ordinance, Justice Owen.
Exhibit D reflects the actions of the ordinance committee on December the 8th, 2014. And then tonight, the ordinance committee met briefly, elected a chair and vice chair, and gave 2 passes for the ordinances.
Okay, thanks. Environmental Services, Justice Mahoney.
Judge, Environmental Services Committee met just prior to the Quorum Court meeting for organizational purposes. A new chairman and vice chair were selected, being myself, Darrell Mullen, and David Reagan, respectively.
Thank you. Yes, Justice McKee.
Judge, Exhibit C has the minutes for the December 8th meeting. We met before this meeting, we elected chairman and vice chairman, and conducted all the appropriations received to be passed.
All right, thanks. I think one more scout showed up.
Thank you.
Okay, Human Resources, Justice Anderson.
Good, we're going to cover this meeting, elected chair, vice chair for Human Resources Committee.
Okay. Public Health, Welfare, and Safety, Justice Griffin now.
Judge, we met prior to this meeting, elected chairman and vice chairman, same as that was last term.
Okay.
Public health will be 2 weeks from tonight.
Good deal. Public Works and Building is joined now with Environmental Services, so we'll change that on the agenda too. Information and Technology, I think we've selected those. So,
We will have a meeting here at 9 a.m. Thursday.
great. Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. Mark, you want to give us an update?
Sure.
2 milestones today, as a matter of fact. First of all, our medical vendor, Southwest Correctional Medical Group, began services in the jail. We're real pleased with that. It provides 16 hours of medical coverage per day, every day of the year. That will expand when we move out to the new facility to 24/7. The other thing is we got office furniture being moved into the new facility today, so it's the first piece of equipment going in there as far as that goes. Inmate furniture is destined for delivery on Monday, so we are moving fast and furious towards hopefully sometime in March occupation, which is not inmate occupation, it's staff occupation. Our training begins on the new building, hopefully if all goes well and as planned in March, but things will go on very well. Any questions? Staffing, I wanted to comment about staffing. We are 9 deputies shy of being fully staffed for the new facility, and that's moving along very, very well. Sherry Adams done a great job for us as our HR coordinator, getting all those positions filled. We're real happy with that, and it's been able to facilitate all the training that we've been able to do this year, which is nearing the 20,000 hour mark in total, so.
So Mark, if you get inmates in March, if you get the staff in March, when do you get the inmates over there?
I don't want to publicly talk about that because it's a tactical maneuver as far as security and safety, moving that many 200 inmates out to the new facility, and whoever else you give us in the coming weeks.
I've got plenty to give you, that's why I wanted to.
I know you have a calendar with the circle.
I do, I keep moving that circle though.
Any other questions?
I know that you've been kind enough and gracious enough to take us on a tour once before. Is there the ability of doing that any time in the near term for the justices, especially now that we have new justices on
Yes,
board?
ma'am, and I think that would be a great exercise because the difference between what you saw then and what you see now is very marked. We had our first public tour group, the Mary Anderson Breakfast Club, about 35 gentlemen. They had a real good time. They really enjoyed it. They were very, very impressed with what we had going on here. So, yes, ma'am, anytime in the near future, we are ready for that, so.
You bet.
Meeting tomorrow at the Sheriff's Office to discuss the dedication of the building. We have a small committee
Great.
that's been working on that, so things are moving along.
Thanks.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it, Mark. You want to say something?
Would you and the sheriff coordinate that?
We can do that. Yep. You know, I get a lot of people hammering us over the time limit and everything. There was a lot of weather delays. You never know what Arkansas winter is going to be like last year. The reality is, when we said 16 months at the beginning, Ray was involved in those meetings. That was a very tight time frame anyway. May have been somewhat unrealistic, but at that time I was unwilling to, I was going to let them try. But I didn't think it could be done then, and it's proven out to that, so.
Yeah, and this particular construction project, you know, other than some other very, very sophisticated buildings, this is complex. It's almost 4 acres in size, and I mean, it's designed to operate 24/7, and it is, and we're spending as much money as we are. We want to make sure it's done right, and if it takes a little bit longer, then so be it. But it's crucial that we have a building that serves the functions that it's supposed to serve.
Yeah, I mean, like security electronics it's a massive task to get all that working properly, and they're working 7 days a week on it, so.
But you're still only talking about 4 months after, longer than the.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months longer than it should have been.
Project this size, that's almost nothing.
But anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Okay, next thing on your agenda, something you haven't seen before, and I'll explain that to you, which is approval of county court case, and the numbers there, 2 of them. And what that is, according to our auditors, anytime we dispose of any county property, such as computers that are old and they dispose of them, before it would have been in your packet, but now we have to do a court order and bring it to the Quorum court to dispose of it, which I don't think is a bad thing. Shouldn't take up much more of our time, but that's.
We have to do these individually, we can do them as a pair.
I don't know, Ralph.
You could do them all at one time.
I move approval of both orders. Second.
Okay. Now, you got a motion and a second to approve both disposals. And is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we get down to the fun one. We got to read this one 3 times.
And a second for the emergency clause.
Okay. Didn't have that on my list. I need a motion to approve the committee reports. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Sarah, if you would, read 015-1 in its entirety, please.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to repeal ordinance number 00445 and to amend ordinance number 083-2, establishing committees of the Quorum Court and establishing procedures for membership thereto, to declare an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas ordinance number 00445 previously amended 083-2, establishing the committees of the Garland County Quorum Court and procedures for membership thereto, and whereas due to minor changes in the standing committees, it is necessary to repeal 00445 and to amend 083-2 to provide for the efficient administration of Quorum Court business. Now therefore it be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, Section 1, that ordinance number 00445 is hereby repealed. Article 1, Section 2 of ordinance 083-2 is hereby amended to read as follows. There are hereby established the following standing committees of the Quorum Court: Finance Committee, Ordinance and Resolutions Committee, Human Resources Committee, Public Health, Welfare and Safety Committee, Public Works and Buildings and Environmental Services Committee combined. Article 2, Section 4 of ordinance 083-2 is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 4, each committee shall consist of not less than 3 nor more than 8 members. Article 3, Section 7 of ordinance 083-2 is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 7, the length of membership for each committee member shall coincide with the justice's term of office. The county judge or his or her designated agent shall be an ex officio member of each standing and special committee. The county attorney shall be an ex officio member of all committees. The treasurer or his or her designated agent shall be an ex officio member of the finance committee. Article 4, Section 8 of ordinance 083-2 is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 8, committee chairpersons shall be elected by each individual committee, provided that no justice may serve as the chairperson in more than one standing committee. The term of office of chairperson shall be 1 year, but a chairperson may be selected to serve successive terms. Each committee shall also elect a vice chairperson to preside in the absence of the chairperson. Chairperson shall be selected and serve in the same manner as the chairperson. Article 5, severability of any portion of this ordinance or the application thereof to any person or circumstance is held invalid. Such invalidity shall not affect other provisions or application of the ordinance, which can be given effect without the invalid provisions or application. And to this end, the provision of this ordinance is declared to be severable. Article 6, this ordinance shall be codified in the Garland County Code of Ordinances, and the sections may be renumbered and relettered to accomplish such intention. Article 7, this ordinance being necessary to establish committees and procedures for the Quorum Court for the term 2015 to 2016. An emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be enforced and take effect upon passage and publication.
Okay, I need a motion to suspend the
I move
rules.
to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on the second reading. Reading by title only.
By title, yes. Second and third reading by title. Got a motion and a second. Sarah, if you would call the roll.
Justice Reagan,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes.
Porterval,
Yes.
Arguello, Owen, Faulkner,
Yes.
Barhala,
Yes.
McKee,
Yes.
Hudgens,
Yes.
Griffin,
Yes.
Mahoney,
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Okay, we're on the second reading by title only.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to repeal ordinance number 00445 and to amend ordinance number 083-2, establishing committees of the Quorum Court and establishing procedures for membership thereto, to declare an emergency and for other purposes.
Nope.
No.
No,
I need a motion to suspend the rules and place it on its third reading
Place it on its final reading.
by title only.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Who's that second?
Mary. Is there any further discussion? Call the roll.
Justice Reagan,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes.
Porterval,
Yes.
Arguello, Owen,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Barhala,
Yes.
McKee,
Yes.
Hudgens,
Yes.
Griffin,
Yes.
Mahoney,
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Move for adoption.
Nope.
No,
Read it first.
Third reading
Read it.
by title only.
Larry. Take some time off.
Football.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to repeal ordinance number 00445 and to amend ordinance number 083-2, establishing committees of the Quorum Court and establishing procedures for membership thereto, to declare an emergency and for other purposes.
Thomas. Motion to adopt.
Adoption.
Do I have a second? Justice Owen. Is there any further discussion on this 15-1? Call roll.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion.
Yes.
Fornivall.
Yes.
Arguello. Owen.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Barhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
If it's appropriate, I would move for the adoption of the emergency clause.
It is appropriate. Second.
Good job. Any further discussion on the emergency clause? Call roll. I hate reading these things 3 times. Okay.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion.
Yes.
Fornivall.
Yes.
Arguello. Owen.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Barhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion to suspend the rules and read the appropriation ordinances by title only.
So moved. Second.
Who was that?
Is there any further discussion?
Let me say this, just because I was surprised Ray didn't do it, but the ordinance that we just read is, numbered, old 1501, first ordinance for this year. So I thought Ray was gonna do that. It is the first one that we approved this year, the resolution, the appropriation ordinance is also numbered, ordinance 1502 and 3. And those are the first ones that we're doing this year. Ray usually tell that story for the new folk. Didn't do it tonight.
When we get to about 15-90, which will be about what we're gonna run into about next December, we adopt about 90 ordinances a year. And of those, probably about 80 of them, 83 or 84 of them will be appropriation ordinances, changing the budget. We do a few regular ordinances like we did the first one tonight, but there's not very many of those during the course of the year. A lot of meetings, we don't have one of those.
But we got some new elected officials, so they're not gonna be up here asking for money. No, I'm
Now that you got that out of the way, we
So-
can
We
look
got
at
that.
So all our elected officials can ask for all the money we want?
I mean, you've been here a while.
You can ask.
Same as it
But
always
it's,
is.
but it's also true that most of the appropriation ordinances are routine, such as
They are.
these food, and transfers of insurance checks. They have to turn into the general fund before they can go back out to the
Anytime a grant is awarded to the sheriff's office or any other department, then it goes first of all into the general fund, and then we have to switch it over from the general fund to the specific fund that's there. So that's what a lot of these ordinances are.
Yeah, very few of our budget ordinances or our appropriation ordinances actually have a true effect on the budget. We get that budget pretty good by the end of the year.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Thanks, Russ. Okay, we got a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read on title only. Is there any further discussion? Sarah, call the roll.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion.
Yes.
Fornivall.
Yes.
Arguello. Owen.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Barhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Okay, 15-2 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2015 Garland County Budget Ordinance 01478 and to appropriate funds therefore to the Juvenile Detention Center Budget 2000 and for other purposes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion. Fornivall.
Yes.
Arguello. Owen.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Barhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
Okay, 15-3 by title only.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2015 Garland County Budget Ordinance 01478 and to appropriate funds therefore to the 2015 Voting Systems Grant Budget 2600 and for other purposes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? So, no, the voting machines, it's coming. So still lots to go on that yet. Okay. Sarah, call roll.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion. Winneball.
Yes.
Argento. Owen.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Varhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin. Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
The only thing I know that we have under old and new business is we gotta appoint a member from the Quorum Court to the AAC representative, to be the representative.
Association of Arkansas Counties.
I would like to nominate Larry Griffin.
Second.
He's been our representative for 2 years now. And,
Okay.
He does a good job.
if he doesn't have any objections to continue.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to leave Larry as our AAC representative. Is there any further discussion?
AAC is Arkansas Association of Counties, and a very good organization.
Yeah, they are. We need to call roll. Call roll.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion.
Yes.
Winneball.
Yes.
Argento. Owen.
Yes.
Faulkner.
Yes.
Varhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin. Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
The next thing that I have, the Tri-Lakes MPO representative from the Quorum Court, we need to appoint.
Like to nominate Ray Owen. Second.
Okay.
Let you continue.
And that's a good place for him. I think he represents us well.
Just a second.
Everybody.
Pick one. Tri-Lakes MPO. So is there any further discussion? Sarah, if you would call the roll.
Call roll.
She's still right.
Justice Reagan.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Marion.
Yes.
Winneball.
Yes.
Argento. Owen. Faulkner.
Yes.
Varhala.
Yes.
McKee.
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Yes.
Rainey.
Yes.
So do we have any more business? Anybody know of any other business, old or new, that we have to attend to? You know, I'll just tell you, Mary,
What?
Dewey, you're looking at me like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean,
Dewey or not? I don't-
no, we
That's all I
have
have.
nothing else.
Yes, we have no business.
We have no business.
I would like to welcome our new sheriff to the Quorum Court.
You bet. Thanks, Mike, for being here, and you'll be sitting there for once a month. We appreciate it. Looking forward to it. But, you know, we got some new elected Quorum Court members, and you're gonna find out that through the committee process and everything, we don't always agree, but that's okay. And most of the times what happens is we come out with something, by everybody putting their ideas on the table, we come out with something good. So don't take anything personal when you get in a committee meeting. It's not about, it's just about everybody's got their own opinion, and that's good. So, right?
And I would, on behalf of the Finance Committee, invite all members of the Quorum Court who are not on that committee to particularly come to our budget deliberations in the fall. It's going to give you a much better handle for how the money is allocated to the county, and how we go through and put some of these poor elected officials to the task, and they have to explain about why they have any increases in any areas and why they shouldn't have decreases in some of them. A lot of them get their feelings hurt when that's happening, but actually, if there's a purpose for that, you like to hurt their feelings. No, the real purpose is we're trying to save as much money as we can. We have a fairly lean budget. I think we would say those that have dealt with this for a long time know we have a lean budget, and most of the elected officials know we have a lean budget. But it's something that I think, particularly those of you who have not seen this process work, it really is something that you should come to and see how it does work, because it gives you a better understanding of how carefully we monitor our money in our county.
Yeah, Mary?
Totally different topic. I received a report from Dan Bug for calendar year 2014. Overall, reporting of dog bites went up, but serious dog bites went down to almost zero. I think there was only 3 serious dog bites. I asked him, because of the fact that the actual numbers had increased, I've asked him to do some additional research. I wanted to determine, based on these reports, whether or not these happened on personal property, was it their own pet, those types of questions needed to be answered to make sure that our ordinance is doing the job it's supposed to be doing. Obviously, we can't control animal bites of your own animals inside your own property. That just isn't going to work. So he is doing that kind of research for us. Sheriff, if I could ask you to in several cases where it identifies the animal itself, it's unknown. And it's important for us to know the type of dogs that are involved in these cases. Because, again, our ordinance was very specific. It does appear that the vast majority of attacks, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50% of all bites involved pit to pit mixes, whether it was on animals or people. And that remains true in this new report. So it's very important for us to know that. But he's having a new problem, and the issue is not dogs and cats anymore. He's having some serious problems with livestock, especially in the county. Horses, goats, pigs, animals that are not being taken care of or being let loose and no one having to find them. He's been taking care of a number of horses and stuff that are in the judicial system waiting final determination for months.
When Ralph reads his email, I sent out one to Terry Harris, Ralph, and I didn't include the sheriff, but I think he needs to be in the meeting to discuss the pigs, goats,
Livestock.
horses. I don't think that's within the realm
Right.
of animal services, and we're gonna have to put a stop to chasing horses around the county.
Well, that isn't what we had contracted with the city, and that will cause serious issues with the city. Them trying to handle livestock. So some things are going to have to be done in your realm and with the sheriff, the judge, whatever, to address those situations involving livestock. That was not part of any animal control. So I just wanted to bring that to your all's attention.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that'll work out, but I think we need to sit down and talk about it, because it's getting out of control. Okay.
One quick. The pit bull in our neighborhood that was harassing other dogs and people and has been put down, so I think our ordinance is working. You just anecdotal, well, that's anecdotal, but,
Worked for you.
it worked for us.
Well, the fact that we only had 3 serious bites last year compared to what we had in previous years is a huge boom to our ordinance is working.
Dog, what kind of gun did you use?
Sheriff, Sheriff, have anything you want to say to us?
Mike, you got anything?
I'm just glad to be here and looking forward to working with everybody. I think you'll see I'm a real easy person to work with, and I've heard that everybody in here also is. We are going to be doing a little bit of reorganization within the sheriff's department, and I'll be bringing you information on that to get your approval and vote in the near future.
Okay. Quack, quack.
That time.
Good sign.
You sit them twins.
Because I need to follow. Oh, that's what they had to do.
county owns all that.